Hello and welcome! In this lecture we're going to create a separate class to handle all of our unit animations, so moving, shooting, and anything else we need in the future. Okay, so here is our game, and we already have a nice shoot action, so I can click to select it, there's the enemy, click on it, and there you go, the unit rotates. Now it technically shot the enemy, and that's it. We can see in the console that we did shoot the enemy, but of course there's no visual. So let's do that, and one approach would be just like we did on the move action. So over here on the move action script, we have a reference to the unit animator. And then with this reference, we're just setting the boolean in order to play the walking animation. So we could just do the exact same thing on the shoot action. So just add another reference to the unit animator, call the specific animator parameters and so on. However, that would end up with quite a lot of duplicated code and lots of references to the animator, which would make debugging quite complex. So a better approach is to make a proper script to handle all of the animations, and then we make that script listen to events on the actions in order to know which animation to play. So let's go with that one. In the editor, let's make a new script. So a new C# script, call this the Unit Animator. Now let's go into the unit prefab. So inside the prefabs folder, let's go into the unit, not the enemy, so the base unit. And in here, let's drag the Unit Animator script. Okay, there it is. Let's open. Now here, let's first add a reference to the animator. So let's do that, a serialized field, private. It's going to be an animator and call it animator. Now here in the editor, let's drag the reference. So let's go inside the unit prefab. And here, let's drag the animator, which is on the character, okay? So now here, let's first handle the movement. So let's refactor our move action. Over here, let's refactor this to make it work with the new class. First thing we do is let's get rid of this reference to the animator. We're only going to have a single reference and it's going to be on this specific script. Now on the unit animator, let's first get a reference to the move action. So let's do a private void awake, do it on awake since it's all in this object. And like I said, with the design that we're going for, all actions are attached to the unit. So here we can just do get component of type move action in order to get the move action. However, with this approach, if the unit did not have a move action, then things would kind of break. Again, for our design, we're going to make sure that only units can move. However, later on, we're going to have some actions that are optional. So let's do things properly here. So instead of get component, let's use try get component. Let's try to get the move action. So if this succeeds, if so, then we have our move action. Now here, let's listen to some events. So let's make those first. Let's go into the move action script and let's make some events. So public event handler. Let's make an event for on the unit start moving. So on start moving, another one on stop moving. Start and stop, okay? Now for firing these events, let's see. So when we take an action, then let's fire off this event. So on start moving, let's invoke this. So this and event are empty, okay? And for the stop moving, we have over here on the action complete. So when we have this, let's fire off the event. So on stop moving, call invoke this event targs empty. And now we can get rid of this reference to the animator. So get rid of this. This is going to be on the other script. All right, so we have these events. Now let's go into the unit animator and over here, let's listen to those. So the move action. Let's listen to the on start moving. Let's subscribe to the event. Make the function to listen to it. So up here, a private void. So move action on start moving with object sender and so on. Just need using system, okay? So on this one, we'll listen on this function. And up here, we just do the same thing that we were doing previously. So go into the animator, call set bool. And on the set bool, the parameter was is walking and set it to true. Then let's listen to the other event. So on stop moving, we can copy this one. It's pretty much the same thing. So over here, it's on stop moving on this one, for this one, and this one just into false. Okay, so that's it. Super simple. Let's test and everything should still be working exactly the same as previously. Okay, here we are, and by default, the characters are idle. Now if I try moving somewhere, there you go, it's walking and gets there and back to idle. Okay, great. So everything is still working exactly the same as previously. Now let's handle the shoot action. First, let's actually set up the animator object. So let's go inside the unit prefab, and over here, let's select the animator. Now for the animations, the ones that we downloaded previously already have a shoot, so let's see that one. It is this one, the firing rifle animation. So let's just click and drag and drop it over here on the animator. So we've got the firing rifle animation. Now let's make a transition for this one. And again, our units are only going to shoot when not moving, so we just need transition from idle into the rifle. So let's make transition from that one into that one. Now in this transition, let's set up the parameters. So we do not want exit time, we want it triggered by a parameter. Then for the transition settings up here, let's make it a fixed duration and let's make it instant. So over here on the duration, let's put it on 0. This is a shoot, so it's meant to be triggered instantly. Okay, now what we need is over here the condition. So for that, let's go on the parameters, let's create a brand new parameter. And for this one, let's make it of type trigger. Let's call this shoot. A trigger is kind of like a boolean that is only triggered once. So as soon as we enable this, then it's going to consume this transition and it automatically gets unticked. So that's exactly what we want here. So we do that one. Let's trigger the condition on this trigger. So on the shoot trigger. Okay. And then let's make a transition back. So back into idle. And for this one, let's leave it with as exit time. So it transitions automatically. And let's trigger this near the end of the animation. So for the exit time, let's put maybe 0.9. And then let's untick fixed duration. So we have a percentage and let's put it 0.1. So basically the last 10% of the shooting animation is going to be transitioned back into idle. Okay, so here we have our animator setup. Super simple. Now let's go into the shoot action script. So over here, implementing this code is going to be your challenge. Your task is to add a onShoot event on the shoot action script, and then listen to that event on the Unit Animator and use that to play the shoot animation. Okay, go ahead, pause the video and give that a go. Alright, welcome back. So let's implement this logic. First, let's do the event over here on the shoot action. So let's begin by making a public event handler. Let's call it onShoot. Now let's see where we fire off this event. So let's go down here. We already have a shoot function. So let's go in here and yep, that's it. So in here, let's simply fire off the event. So let's invoke, pass in this and event args empty. Okay. Then let's go into the Unit Animator and over here, let's listen to that event, which means we need to do try get component to see if this unit does have a shoot action. So let's get the shoot action out, shoot action, shoot action. Okay. And now on the shoot action, let's listen to that event. So it's the onShoot event. And let's listen to that. So let's make the function to listen to it. And get rid of these two. Okay, now let's make that function and we're going to trigger something on the animator. So let's copy this. Pretty much the exact same signature. Okay, so in here, instead of set bool, we made it a trigger. So let's call set trigger and we call the trigger shoot. And that's it. This is the only parameter. All right, so that's it. Super simple. Let's test. So here we are. Let's choose the shoot action. Let's look at this unit, see if it shoots that one. So on this one, click on that one and aims. And yep, there you go. There's a nice shooting animation. All right, great. So we've got the shooting animation logic. And more importantly, we also cleaned up our code by making a separate class dedicated to handling all animations. This will help keep our code nice and organized as we make more and more actions with more and more animations. Now, of course, the missing issue is we have no visual, so let's make that in the next lecture.